In December, the cold air swept through the air like strong winds and showers, and many parts of the country officially entered the cold winter. Qixia town is located in the southwest corner of Kaifeng City. As a suburban town in the prosperous provincial capital, Qixia has developed very well in recent years, with wide roads, light rails, subways, shopping malls, etc. With the improvement of development, there are more and more young people coming and going on the streets. Next to the starting station of Metro Line 15, there was a loud drum and gong in front of the shopping mall where the third anniversary celebration was held, and businesses from all walks of life showed their strengths and worked hard to absorb the passenger flow. It was cold and windy, and it was only after 3 o'clock in the afternoon that fine snowflakes floated in the sky, sandwiched by the cool rain, which made passers-by shrink their heads. In the snowstorm, the staff in red pig doll costumes held a stack of leaflets in their hands, and they handed them one when they saw them. Unfortunately, everyone was cold today, their hands were tucked into their pockets, and they ignored the leaflets handed by the big red pig. Unknowingly, more than half an hour later, 4 o'clock came quietly, the snow was still not in the weather, everywhere was grey and wet, and the sky was as dark as night. At 4 o'clock, the big red pig turned around and got into the staff rest area of the mall. He quickly took off the huge red pig's head, revealing a very decent and outstanding appearance under the pig's head, with fair skin with long eyebrows and slender eyes, a high nose and red mouth, slightly raised eyebrows, slightly upturned lips, and smiled without saying a word. In the words of a part-time colleague, it is the hue that can only be found in CG illustrations. With such an unreal appearance, you can get a lot of fans in the entertainment industry just by looking good, but working hard with them as a handyman is really a waste. It's time to change shifts. As soon as he spoke, the young man's voice was as good as his face, extremely pleasant and comfortable. Suddenly it's so cold, I even dared to wear short sleeves last week. I really don't want to go outside to dry. Colleagues complained. It's okay to wear a pig's head dress, it's quite cold. That's better than wearing a doll costume in summer. Liu Ying handed the pig head suit to the colleague who took over, put on a coat, turned around and hurried out with a large bag of things. Not long after, a black electric car came out from the back alley of the mall. The sudden dark night made the road that should be extending in all directions blocked, and the electric car drove in twists and turns. When they arrived at the gate of the kindergarten, many children had already been picked up. Liu Ying hurriedly parked and walked outside the iron gate, looking at the children waiting sporadically with school bags in the small courtyard of the kindergarten. He couldn't help laughing and shouting, "Mr. Wang, I'm here to pick up the cub." "I'm sorry, it's a little late today." Mr. Wang smiled when she saw him, and quickly pulled the little boy who was playing with his friends. "Dad, you are too polite, it is not too late for more than half an hour. Today it's raining, the weather is cold and the road is slippery. You must be careful when you ride a bike with a child. Cub, your father is here to pick you up." "Thank you, I will pay attention." "Goodbye, teacher." The little boy smiled and waved, "Teacher, see you tomorrow." With a short stature, he squatted in front of Liu Ying's car. Liu Ying put a hat on him and carried his son slowly on foot on the way home. "What did you do in kindergarten today?" On the way, Liu Ying chatted with her son. Play games in the playground in the morning, and play games in the classroom when I wake up at noon. Have fun." "I'm happy. I ate well today, and the teacher praised me." Liu Ying raised the corners of her mouth and smiled straight to the bottom of her eyes. "Cub's A is great every day." Like him, his son's biggest advantage is that he can eat, not picky eaters. He used to worry about it, thinking that since he started kindergarten, eating has become the biggest advantage of the little cubs. The teachers all like Liu cubs who are never picky eaters and never have leftovers. The house rented by the father and son is located between the kindergarten and the shopping mall where he works. This is a local community that is still under construction. Because the house does not have a real estate license, there are too many drawbacks and inconveniences to trade. Compared with the expensive commercial buildings next to it, the houses in this community are not only much cheaper, but the rent is also cheaper. Of course, the environment is also chaotic. There are also many less formal private remodeled rental houses. Since Liu Ying moved out of Qixia Mountain this year, he has lived in a small single room. The house is about 15 square meters, including a 1 meter 5 bed, square table and chairs, toilet, kitchenette, simple wardrobe, and it is fully functional. Dad, what are we having for dinner tonight? Cub, who was at least a lap fatter than his classmates, returned home and immediately asked. Although he ate dinner in kindergarten before school, he was still hungry. Liu Ying hurriedly went to the kitchen to cook. There are vegetables and meat, which will definitely make you full. You can play with toys for a while. The kindergarten seldom assigns homework, and the cub is detained and cannot run out alone, and there is no TV at home, so he can only play with toys, or paint with crayons, build a tiny house out of blocks. Liu Ying quickly boiled a large pot of tomato shredded pork and egg noodles, and also pasted 2 large pieces of chopped green onion minced meat pancakes with fried shredded potatoes and carrots, all of which are time-consuming eating. Father and son snorted at the only small table to enjoy dinner. No one said a word, just buried their heads to eat. Not to mention so exciting. Dad, I'm full. Look at my belly, hee hee you and yo. He licked the bottom of the bowl and swallowed the last bite of the burrito. The cub picked up his clothes and patted his belly, smiling brightly. Liu Ying tapped on her little belly seriously. Is this watermelon ripe? I want to eat it. No, I'm not familiar. Look, this is my stomach, I can't eat it. Humph, you are such a confused dad. He rolled his eyes helplessly. Liu Ying replied with a big white eye, if I dare to say that I am a confused father, I will not tell you the story of Peppa Pig in the future. I didn't learn it well. No, I'm sorry, Dad, I was wrong. Dad is the smartest dad in the world. The fat boy immediately hugged his dad's thigh and acted like a spoiled child, his small eyes crooked with a smile. The curved crescent moon looks like a father. Liu Ying nodded with satisfaction. Dad is going to work. Are you playing at home or working with your father? If someone else's house encountered such cold weather, how could they take the child out? But Liu Ying still asked the child's opinion. Zai jumped up immediately. I want to work with Daddy today. Okay, put on your little hat and go. Liu Ying gave orders. It's raining outside, I'm going to put on my Ultraman raincoat. Zai excitedly took out a small blue raincoat and happily went out with his father. Liu Ying's work starts at 6 o'clock in the evening. She works part-time at the pizza shop in front of the still-built community to deliver food. The more rainy it is, the better the business. He wore the uniform of the pizza shop, accompanied by the slight rain, and delivered orders from house to house near the community. Zai stayed in the pizza shop and waited for him. It was impossible for him to take the child into the car when he ran takeout. He had the courage, but the boss didn't. Who is the boss looking for? Allowing him to leave the child in the store while he is at work is the greatest tolerance. At first, he didn't think about bringing his children out during working hours, which is easy to be disliked. But when he just moved out of the village, he thought his son, who had always been independent, could stay at home and wait for him, but he didn't expect to see the fat boy's crying face when he returned from get off work. Instead, he went out with his son a lot later, and the boy became strong again, and occasionally offered to stay at home to play, expressing that he did not want to go out. The father and son went downstairs hand in hand, and met the next-door neighbor's family of 3 at the corner. When both sides met, they kept their eyes open at the same time. It was obvious that the relationship was not in harmony. When Liu Ying walked a little further, the greasy-looking man with a big belly spit. A big man draws eyeliner all day long, and the demon is so disgusting. Son, don't play with that little beast, that kind of poor man. You shouldn't be in town. Mothers also laugh. Most children in single-parent families have problems, and children without mothers are uneducated. He's as fat as a pig, so I won't play with him. The child agreed proudly. The family of 3 felt superior and went away. Liu Ying, who turned a deaf ear, patted the fat boy's head proudly. Even if his son is a pig, he is the cutest and best-looking little pig. Unlike some people, ugly as a pig. The car was running in the night rain. Liu Ying ran for an hour before she could catch her breath. She went back to the pizza shop to watch her son play with building blocks. The obedient fat boy suddenly sighed, and Liu Ying knew that he had more things to do as soon as he heard it. "What's wrong?" Liu Ying asked with a smile. "I said long ago that you should not cook noodles. Although it is delicious, it is easy to get hungry again." Liu Ying, who was reprimanded by her son, sneered, "There are so many reasons to eat. Tell me, what do you want to eat?" The fat boy sniffed and muttered, "The pizza at the boss's house smells so good, I think it must be delicious." Liu Ying frowned and whispered in her son's ear, "Little fool, how can pizza be delicious with sesame seeds and pancakes? It's not just the weird taste that foreigners have learned from our sesame pancakes without success." "Big pancake. Dad bought you 2 kuakui, 1 sweet and 1 salty." Of course, both pizza and biscuits are delicious, but pizza is more expensive than biscuits, not even $1.50. Liu Ying turned around and bought 2 pot helmets for her son, which cost 8 yuan, which is actually not cheap. The price of the pot helmet has more than doubled compared to the previous years. Seeing the price soaring, the wallet is empty. How can it be a word of sorrow? If he hadn't been doing several jobs intermittently, it would have been hard to stay in the city. Fortunately, through hard work, he was able to stay with the child as he wished, and the cub entered a good kindergarten. In September of next year, the cub can go to primary school and officially enter the compulsory education stage stipulated by the state. That is when he takes the child out of the mountains to live. The greatest purpose. Kindergarten can freely choose to read or not, and where to read. The primary school included in the 1-2 compulsory education cannot be casually entered and exited. However, the counterpart primary school in their village is too sluggish. There are only 6 students and 1 teacher in the whole school. All responsible parents send their children out of the village. Liu Ying was naturally reluctant for her son to go to such an elementary school. In his own words, it was not lively at all. Before moving into the city, Liu Ying worked alone in the city every day. At night, she took her children in kindergarten back to a remote village to rest. Grandpa Liu waited for them at home every day. At that time, although I was running back and forth, a lot of time was wasted on the road. But the mood of working for the family is satisfied, and returning home is also lively. It would be great if Grandpa Liu was still there. When he was busy, the cub would have someone to accompany him at home. At about 10 o'clock on the night shift, Liu Ying came home with his son who was asleep. The father and son slept on the 1.5-meter bed, which was more than enough, warm and comfortable. He set the alarm clock and soaked the bed into a good sleep. At 3:30 in the morning, he woke up with the first sound of Didi's mobile phone alarm. Liu Ying got up quickly, packed herself in less than 10 minutes, touched her son's sleeping chubby face, locked the door and went out to the first morning shift. At 4 in the morning, there were only sporadic vehicles and sanitation workers on the empty road. This job is tiring and dirty. At present, young people are afraid that no one is willing to do it, and the employees are aging seriously. Most of them still have to do it, and they have no choice. Liu Ying is not picky at all, but he is very grateful to Aunt Wang of the neighborhood committee who introduced him to this job. Although he is only a temporary worker and cannot be converted into a regular, the time period is also the most tiring wave, but let's sweep the streets, as long as people are in the middle of it. Dispose of the street before getting up, and his job is over. Liu Ying was quite satisfied after taking over. The working hours were very short. Just go to the supermarket to work. Second, this is the only job that doesn't have to deal with too many people, it's too quiet and comfortable for him. Third, the salary is not bad, anyway, the price is high. He is now firmly holding 3 jobs a day, earning more than 10,000 yuan a month, and has no mortgage or car loan. Except for the annual tuition fee of about 20,000 yuan in kindergarten and his usual living expenses, he saves the rest well and saves them all for his son's future studies. His biggest goal at the moment is to let his son grow up healthily and let him become a college student. In the future, he can make money more easily and gain a firm foothold in human society. This is the way he has thought for a long time for his son. I can't be like him, I haven't read a book for a day, all the words in arithmetic I know are taught at home by Grandpa Lu, and I don't have a primary school diploma. He is not smart enough to be a person, and his eloquence is not good enough. There are really not many jobs to choose from. But the cub is lucky enough to go to school. For this reason, even if he Lu Ying is almost all year round, he is still very motivated. In the future, when his son can be self-reliant, he can make further plans, go to a night school, adult university, etc. to cheer himself up. Brother Yang said that the most important experience of being a person is reading. People read from childhood to adulthood, and then they can become useful people based on society. People like them who came out of the mountains, if they want to live a personal life, they should read more. Lu Ying man has been out in the mountains for nearly 10 years, and he took a year off in between. Over the years, he has been warm and cold to human beings, and has a little understanding of the secular world. In short, there is no good way out for illiterate people, it is very difficult to find a job, and they will be ridiculed and ridiculed for no reason. He didn't think it was anything before, he just had to eat enough. But, after having tasted all the joys, sorrows and joys, he knew that he was becoming more and more like a person. The essence of being a person is one word: hard. On Sunday, Lu Ying went to work as usual. The children have no place to go on weekends and weekends every week. It is not enough to leave them alone at home for a long time. Fortunately, the 5th floor of the shopping mall where he works is a children's play area. It is convenient to put the child there to play, have a meal with the child at noon, and take it home after get off work. Today I saved the time to go to the kindergarten to pick up the child. Lu Ying went straight to the 5th floor after get off work at 4 o'clock. Cub, Dad will take you to the supermarket to buy something delicious. The blushing cub in the playground immediately jumped out, put on his shoes not neatly, and babbled endlessly, "Wow, wow, I want to buy jelly. Small fish biscuits, pig chocolate, canned oranges, depending on the situation, buy more if there is a discount. Miss Li, are you not being naughty today?" Lu Ying touched her son's warm face and smiled and asked the elder sister who issued the ticket at the playground. Sister Xiao Li is about 40, she heard the words with a hearty smile, patted the cub on the shoulder and said, "How can you be naughty, your cub is very good, you have fun, and you will bring little brothers and sisters play together, this child is very sensible and considerate. It's hard to teach a child so well for a young father like you." Basically, it was brought by Grandpa Lu. He had no choice but to find the village to make money to buy milk powder for the cubs. At that time, I could only see my son at night, but now I take my son with me, so I don't have much time alone. Sister Xiao Li probably knew about Lu Ying's family situation and sighed, "It's not easy for you, but it doesn't matter, you are diligent and willing to endure hardships, and the children are obedient and sensible, and the days will always get better." After chatting a few words, Lu Ying left, watching the father and son leave, and Sister Xiaoli retracted her gaze regretfully. Lu Ying is a young man she admires very much, and her diligence is now rare. Coupled with the incredible appearance, it's hard once you look at it. For a while, she frantically wanted to be a matchmaker for Lu Ying, but after thinking about it, there were not many suitable. Liu Ying's conditions are too poor, an orphan, without any family property, and an illiterate who has never even read elementary school. This kind of person, coupled with an extremely attractive appearance, not only does not add points, but makes people more cautious. She reluctantly found two suitable matchmakers who wanted to be matchmakers, but she did not expect that after asking, Liu Ying would not agree, and she was not willing to remarry at all. Liu Ying took the child into the elevator, chose the negative first floor where the supermarket was located, and only reached the fourth floor. The elevator stopped, and a few staff in suits came in, and Manager Zhang at the head was his head boss. Liu Ying secretly sighed unlucky. Manager Zhang is a capable married woman in her 30s. Although she has only been in office for a few months, her colleagues are very impressed with her. She looked at Liu Ying and smiled, "Get off work." The rest of the staff were silent, watching their noses and hearts. Fortunately, the manager and his party left soon on the second floor. Liu Ying arrived on the first floor and received a text message on his mobile phone. When he opened it, his head was as big as a bucket. Manager Zhang invited him to watch a midnight movie. This was not the first time. Ever since Manager Zhang came over, he has often been appointed in private. Similar situations have often been encountered in recent years. There is a reason for a diligent and hard-working person like him to change jobs frequently. Liu Ying sighed faintly, touched her chin and asked her son, "Cub, is Dad very handsome and charming?" "Handsome Dad, let's go buy some snacks. The teacher said that if you look good, you can't eat it." "Dad, listen to me carefully, remember that even if you look beautiful, you can't be too proud, the beauty of the soul is what it's beautiful." Being caught off guard and preaching, Liu Ying was dragged by her son and walked forward, and whispered, "You can't be too proud if you look good, but if you don't look good, how can there be you? Son, let's go. Buy less today, maybe you will have to eat steamed buns another day." The toys and snacks are unconditional and wantonly indulged. They meet them once on a regular basis, and gradually they have formed a habit. Even if he doesn't tell them, this kid knows what to do. Liu Ying looked at her son from time to time, and chatted with her on WeChat. There are only a few friends who can let him chat freely. "Full score Dad, it's really troublesome to look too handsome." Oh brilliant brother G, +1, beauty is a sin. The girl from my funeral family fights for me every day, and it's annoying to chat every day. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, men should look like me, my duty. Brilliant brother G, what's so good about being as silly as you? Just be a single dog. Look at Liu Ying, if he is good looking, he can be a father? I always envy him. Perfect Dad, brother G, where have you been working lately? Brilliant brother G, I don't go to work, I'm bored to death from 9 to 5. My funeral love family is busy making short films, but it's fun, every day ha ha ha. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, the family of burial love is really immortal, and the cubs are so happy, so what do you eat? Brilliant brother G, you won't die if you don't eat a few meals. Full score Dad, I always wanted to ask you, what is the funeral love family? Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, I advise you not to ask, not to Beidou, who will take care of the cubs in case you are blind, hee. Perfect Dad, oh. Brilliant brother G, hello, Lu honesty, you are not honest now. Ha ha you ha ha. Artisan Yang, Liu Ying, if you have time during the Chinese New Year, come help me, and the salary can be settled on the same day. Several of my helpers are going back to their hometown during the Chinese New Year, and they are in short supply. Perfect Dad, thank you brother Yang. Brother Yang's business is getting better and better, it's really amazing. Brilliant brother G, I miss brother Yang's craftsmanship, so I will eat it another day. Artisan Yang, welcome anytime. We haven't had dinner together for a long time, so please come to my place for dinner. Or on New Year's Day, the new year will start with Liu Ying's joy. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, yes. Lu Ying, do you want to come to work in our store after the year? The income from selling the house is okay, and I have more freedom when I go to work, and I can pick up my children after school. Brilliant brother G, ha ha ha, Lu Ying is thin-skinned and stupid and most afraid of sales. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, how will you know if you don't try it? It's not that you need to be able to speak well before selling. Lu Ying is down to earth, diligent and not afraid of hardships. Artisan Yang, you get off work too late, the cub is still young and needs more company. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, yes, hey, it is common to be busy until 11 or 12. It is not easy to do any line of work now, and it is not easy to make money. Brilliant brother G, that's right, even moving bricks at the construction site is not as good as before, and many construction sites have stopped. Full score dad, you worked as an assistant for Doctor Who before, wasn't the salary quite high? Why go to the construction site to move bricks again? Brilliant brother G, don't mention the cunning old guy, he just tortured me in a different way, with thousands of rules, not allowing me to do this, not allowing me to do that, can't stand him, I'm so annoying. Artisan Yang, I delivered it last week and he asked you about it. Brilliant brother G, what did the old guy ask me? Artisan Yang, oh, did you starve to death? Brilliant brother G, old bastard, I won't die in front of his door even if I starve to death. Artisan Yang, oh. Real estate agent Lu Daishuan, oh. Perfect dad, oh. Having chatted with her friends, Lu Ying optimistically left her troubles behind, and the father and son returned from the supermarket full of rewards. I bought a lot of vegetables today. Lu Ying quickly cooked a pot of beef and carrots in a pressure cooker, and finally added several meat and vegetable side dishes. One big and one small enjoyed a hearty hot pot in this cold winter. Lu Ying was tired of eating and went to clean up the kitchen tableware with full burp, but the fat child was still digging for food in the pot, and in the end there was no residue left. Seeing this, Lu Ying was worried. It is natural for her son to eat, but now his appetite is more than blue. Lu Ying is both relieved and distressed. The future can only be taken one step at a time. Compared with the coldness of Kaifeng City, Guanlin City in the south is shining brightly. The famous Zakao Lake Ranch Club in Guanlin City is full of green grass and vast and boundless. The beautiful Zakao Lake is sparkling on both sides. The two sides of the lake are separated. Changed into a long-lost black horse uniform, fastened the knee pads and helmet, Chin Zhuopo raised the whip, and drove the white horse to run out of the guardrail. The speed was neither fast nor slow, the hoofs stepped steadily on the grass, facing the slightly drunken cool wind. My mind has a moment of refreshing pleasure. He suddenly realized that if it wasn't for the invitation from his old friends today, it seems that he hadn't come out to exercise and relax for more than half a year. Wandering around the work day after day, fulfilling, but also tiring. Yo, you're a workaholic, I thought you were going to make a fool of yourself today. Chin Zhuopo ran to the rest area halfway through the racecourse, and finally saw his old friends and their wives and children's family members. His late arrival immediately aroused everyone's ridicule. Chin Zhuopo dismounted helplessly, and his tone was always warm. Old Gao, it's my fault, I'll treat you tonight, you can choose the location. Hey, I can't make trouble with you. What's the point of inviting guests to dinner, and you don't drink alcohol? A chubby middle-aged man in the crowd shook his head and sneered. The beautiful woman spoke softly and said, that's why Brother Park is smart and self-disciplined. What's good about drinking and smoking? People don't touch bad habits. It's not like you. You drink so much that your head and ears are bald. That's right, our teachers all say that drinking and smoking is unhealthy behavior, and it will make you ugly. Dad, people say that baldness is inherited, woohoo, will I be bald in the future? I don't be like you. A little girl of 8 or 9 years old came running not far away and glared at her father seriously. The crowd cheered. Fatty Gao was furious. Don't listen to your mother all day long. Bald heads are passed on from men to women. What are you afraid of? If you want to be bald, your brother will be bald. Papa. Hair and beauty. Behind the girl came a little boy who was walking crookedly, pulling his fluffy hair innocently and smiling at the bald father. The tall fat man is too rare, so he put his arms around his mouth. Oh, they are all my babies, you are all bald. Dad is bald alone. Uncle Chin, I haven't seen you for a long time, I really miss you. The little girl approached Qin Zhuopo happily, looking at him with bright eyes. Qin Zhuopo smiled and touched the girl's head. Xian has grown taller, like your mother. He, of course. The little girl likes to be praised like her mother because she is the most beautiful. The little girl hurriedly flattered, Uncle Chin is still very handsome. If you were in our school, you would definitely be a god. Thank you little princess for your praise. Qin Zhuopo laughed. This unmarried man is different from a married man. How to say it is called juvenile. I was not convinced before, but now I see Lao Qin. Look at your belly, then look at the abdominal muscles of Ren Lao Qin, tisk tisk, the gap is just like that. Another tall and slightly fat man shook his head and his eyes were full of unwilling envy. In addition to Qin Zhuopo, another unmarried man said silently, I and you are of the same country. Brother Chen, your daughter-in-law will be blessed with us before you can find it. Hey, your hairline is really mysterious. Hurry up and ask Lao Qin for advice on how to keep fit. Brother Chen clutched his hairline and wanted to cry without tears. Look at the bald head of the foreign royal family, there is no cure, my heart is ashes. Old Qin has good genes, think about Grandpa Qin carefully. A piece of white hair can give you an amazing amount of hair. God gives you so much hair, you can't fight it. Can't beat hair and abs. Someone laughed and said, Old Qin is well dressed, which one of your eyes sees other people's abdominal muscles? Qin Zhuopo's eyes swept slightly, and he sighed in his heart. Almost all of the playmates here are friends who have known each other since kindergarten. When I was young, I used to get together every day to fly, but now I get older every year, but the number of times I meet is less and less. I don't know from which year, but for private gatherings that do not involve work, partners and children have become the main venue. It seems odd to be unmarried and have no children. Especially. Old Qin, when are you going to get married? It's here, it's finally here, the old unmarried young people can't escape the series of marriage questions. 7 aunts and 8 aunts, 3 uncles and 4 uncles, regardless of gender, from high-level leadership to gossip media. Go home and slap the elders, and come out to pester the friends. Unmarried guilty? My lover is work, and I can't get rid of it at all. Look, you're not a workaholic. I think you have endocrine imbalance and lack of love hormones, so you should come out to stimulate and stimulate. Another day, brother will introduce you to a few high-quality women. Cough, high-quality the handsome guy, let's do it. It's not that you have to find a woman when you get married, it's totally fine for you, Lao Qin, to find a man to marry. Qin Zhuopo laughed directly, okay, one day you have to prepare double red envelopes. That's needless to say. But tell the truth, Lao Qin, do you have company now? Otherwise, I can't help you to be a junior, because I am a serious person. Lao Gaoqing after a few coughs, he stared at Qin Zhuopo expectantly, and the rest of the companions were curious when they heard the words, and only then did they get to the point. Who entrusts you with what? Qin Zhuopo asked directly, his smile already restrained. Lao Gao did not hide it, and said bluntly, the younger brother of a friend of mine abroad has the same hobbies as you, he is 2 years younger than you, and he has nothing to say, and he is still an alumnus with you, his name is Yu Yorong, he can't. Qin Zhuopo interrupted Lao Gao's introduction, waved the whip and drove the horse to run quickly, and the handsome back disappeared in an instant. Qin Zhuopo rode his horse flying away, and Lao Gao was stunned for a moment. His wife gave him a turn for the worse and was annoyed. Why are you a big man, you want to learn from the old man, I think you are in a hurry. I didn't see your name Park Brothers face is wrong? Why don't you worry about Brother Park's private affairs? What's wrong? I didn't pay attention, I didn't know. This is strange, do they know each other? You have offended Lao Qin this time. Mr. Su pointed at Lao Gao, do you know who Yu Yorong is? Who? Lao Su said quickly, I'm dying of anxiety. Ex. Boss Su sighed. We don't know. Several companions shook their heads at the same time. Never heard of it. Old Gao clapped his legs for a long time and stood up. Fuck. His ex is not that person, Xiao Lu is here. Damn it, at least 6 or 7 years have passed. Since Xiao Lu left, the old man Qin has been busy with work all day, and has never looked for anyone else. That guy is serious and clean. If he has new developments, he will definitely show us. Who is this Yu Yorong? Xiao Lu, I still remember, how many amazing thieves are there? Young man, he looks a little frightened because he looks like a demon, and I heard that he didn't even go to college, so I thought the two of them were mysterious at the time, and it turned out to be true. I also remember Xiao Lu. The first time Lao Qin brought him to meet us was to play golf. The little guy had never seen the world at first sight, and he would not even take the connecting rod. Qin taught him every step of the way, but in the blink of an eye he became a master of Kung Fu. He played 18 holes in one breath without taking a break, and he beat Lao Tzu for half a day. What a genius! Sign him to work at the club, but Lao Qin won't let him. Yes, I'm impressed. Yes, yes, the talented Xiao Lu, the treasure of Lao Qin at that time. So, where did Yu Yorong come from? Mr. Su didn't make any detours. Old Qin knew Yu Yorong when he was studying in the United States. At that time, Lao Qin was a graduate student, and Yu Yorong was a college student at the same school. The two people of the same kind met and fell in love. It's okay. But Yu Yorong was a child abroad, and he was very unconventional. Old Qin couldn't get used to some of his styles, and then they split up. I haven't seen the little Lu you mentioned. I should have been in the United States at that time. What is special and unconventional, can you be more careful? Lao Gao gossips. Mr. Su coughed lightly, the next time I see Yu Yorong, don't be polite, it's really not a good bird, that boy is a double, and when he falls in love with Lao Qin, he will play ambiguous with other beauties. Qin withdrew. It's not a glamorous thing. If he doesn't say it, of course I won't take the initiative to say it. You can just listen to it. He was already very subtle and euphemistic, and everyone in the room understood it. I'm going to TMD. Lao Gao was so angry that he even swears, but this time his wife didn't stop him, so it's such a thing, I don't know how to make fun of me. Lao Qin has grace. If I don't scold me, I won't be polite to him. When I see him next time, see if I don't kill him. Dare you still think about finding Lao Qin to reconcile with him after a few years? Tisk, it's really beautiful. The women sat on the side without interrupting, but were casually talking about children and beauty. Mrs. Gao was a little absent-minded. Her mother's family and Qin's family were relatives, and Qin's Wopo was her cousin. She knew more than these rough guys. This is the biggest problem of the Qin family. Qin's Wopo can get off the list anytime he wants, as long as he nods. But in the matter of children, Qin's Wopo can't insist no matter how good he is. She didn't even tell her man about these rather secret things. The elders in the family were very worried about Qin's Wopo, and even doubted his health. As early as Qin's Wopo confessed and came out of the closet, the Qin family and Qin's Wopo made 3 agreements, one of which was that no matter what happened in the future, Qin's Wopo had to find someone to have IVF to leave the blood of the Qin family, and Qin's Wopo agreed. At the age of 28, Qin's Wopo went abroad for IVF, and the result. At least 5 or 6 times so far, one failed. She could almost see Qin's mother's hair turning grey in the past 2 years because of her worry and anxiety. Grandpa Qin, who is getting weaker and weaker, is not as cheerful and humorous as in the past, always calm and preoccupied. Thinking from another perspective, she understands the depressed mood of the Qin family. The Qin family's grandfather is old, Qin's father died young in his prime, and the only remaining bloodline is Qin's Wopu. A man who doesn't like women and is particularly stubborn and assertive. It is impossible to force him to marry a woman for the rest of his life, and the rest of the test tube baby's road is not smooth. She didn't know whether Qin's Wopu was in a hurry or not. Anyway, the elders of the Qin family were anxious to sleep and eat. Today, I worship immortal Bixia, and tomorrow I worship Guanyin, which is really a demon. From another point of view, she sympathized with Qin's Wopu. Sometimes the pressure from family members is more painful than being scolded outside. Qin's Wopu, who hadn't relaxed for a long time, ran happily around the lake for several times, running straight until his back sweated, and his breath was unsteady before he stopped slowly, slipping his horse slowly on the grass going for a walk, unknowingly slipped to the edge of the golf course. Through the isolation net, there were a few familiar young people playing ball. He was not ready to say hello, and quietly turned around and walked away. Liu Ying! Liu Ying, look carefully! The horse neighed and was suddenly forced to stop. The man on the horse slowly turned his head, and his casual gaze fell to the court again, and finally settled on a young girl. The deep eyes are calm and unwavering, and they seem to be fascinated by aftertaste. The horse set off again and ran directly to the entertainment and rest area of the club. Qin's Wopu is the top member here and has a fixed private place. It was a beautiful wooden Western-style building with wide glass doors and windows. When the curtains were opened, you could see the most beautiful lilac lake. In the past, when he was not very busy, he would play here for a day, then rest and enjoy the rare quiet time at night to admire the stars in the sky. He loved that night. Liu Ying prefers him. Every night spent here is full of wanton laughter and lingering love. Every time I inadvertently think of it, I can always make boundless ripples in the calm lake of my heart. Ding ding da ding ding da ding ding da. There was light rain in the sky. Liu Ying in a raincoat was riding an electric car. Liu Qubizai's cheerful singing has been fluttering on the crowded road. Die. Liu Ying didn't dare to attack her son who was in high spirits, so she could only hold back her laughter along the way, her shoulders shaking. When they got to the red street light, the drivers who were blocking them all laughed and looked at the fat boy who was intoxicated by the singing. Liu Zizai was unaware, squinted slightly, and continued to sing against the cold wind. We are sitting on the sleigh, how happy we are skiing, ding ding da. The fat face was flushed, showing how hot he was in his heart. I am afraid he was full of Christmas joy. The annual Christmas in 2 days. Santa Claus from the West has been popular in China for many years, and Christmas has gradually become a well-known festive day. On that day, the kindergarten will organize children to celebrate Christmas together, and Christmas songs require children to be proficient. Liu Zizai usually doesn't like to sing at all, but he will definitely study the songs that the teacher requires. After all, the teacher told us that on Christmas Day, Santa Claus, parent, will prepare a gift for each cute child to hang on the Christmas tree in the school. Of course, Liu Zizai must behave well, or what if Santa misses his gift? When Liu Ying went to school this morning, she had already given the prepared gift to the teacher. He saw the oversized Christmas tree prepared in the school hall, and the atmosphere was full of lights. As a parent, he is very satisfied with the happy atmosphere of the school. He always remembers someone saying that, as a child, the most important thing is not to learn knowledge, but to enjoy a healthy and happy childhood. What a spirited child, he is not afraid of the cold. The road was crowded, and in a black luxury car, a grey-haired lady looked sideways at the electric car not far away in front of the singing Liu cub. She could only see a red face, and could hear the child's energetic singing. The woman, who was already a rare child, couldn't help tearing up the corners of her mouth. In her opinion, no matter how rich or poor, whether tall, short, fat, or thin, innocent children will always be one of the cutest beings in the world. For many years, she has been looking forward to having children and grandchildren around her. The family is lively, but things are unsatisfactory. Her son is already in his 30s. Is her wish for a grandchildren too much? God didn't let her get her wish, but she didn't want to give up easily. Otherwise, why would she come to such a small town as Kixia town, not very impressive? The traffic was congested and it was difficult to move an inch. The lady in the car was in a trance listening to the tender singing of other children's children, and her thoughts had already flown far away. It's too late, sister, let's go find the master tomorrow. I didn't expect the winter in Kaifeng City to be so cold. The lady sitting beside the woman was slightly younger, the two are somewhat similar. The lady returned to her senses and took her sister's words, "This year is a cold winter, and I have never come here before. It's so cold. Fortunately, those people riding bicycles outside have children, so don't get sick from the cold. That's good. There's a lot of traffic, and the road is slippery with little light, and it's dangerous to ride a bike. Being a sister is a little helpless." Her sister loves children very much. Outside, the sky was dark, the wind was cold and rainy, only dimly lit street lamps and car lights were dimly illuminating, and small electric cars and four-wheeled carts kept pace, many of them carrying people and children. After all, it was the point of dismissal of school. It was indeed frightening to see, but this is the reality of the suburban Kixia town. Not everyone can buy a car to protect their children from the wind and rain. The two sisters were lamenting the difficulty of the people at the bottom. On the side of the road, an electric car with a lot of twists and turns slid to the ground, and the adults and children were thrown out instantly. "Ah!" the two people in the car exclaimed in unison, and countless harsh brake horns sounded on the road. "I really fell, are you all right?" My sister clutched her heart nervously. The driver in charge of driving hurriedly said, "Don't worry ma'am, I saw that they have already climbed up, and it seems that they should be fine, at most scratched." The Buick driver who was hit by the electric car looked like he was going to be out of luck. "What's the matter?" the older sister asked. The driver sighed, "Touch the porcelain." The owner of the electric car is a grandfather in his 50s and 60s who rides to pick up his grandson who is studying in kindergarten every day. The moment he fell, he panicked, helplessly threw it out with the car, and then with a bang, the electric car hit a Buick next to him and he and the child fell into the dark traffic. Fortunately the car was blocked and moving. "No, there is no secondary injury to the body." The old man got up and hurried to check on the crying grandson. Fortunately, the child was fine, and the clothes were thick, and it was probably a little scratched. But he didn't know if there were any hidden injuries that he couldn't see. He couldn't help but feel flustered when he thought that it would be difficult to explain to his son and daughter-in-law when he went home. Without any thought, the old man angrily pointed at the white Buick whose headlights were smashed. "How did you drive? Do you have eyes? If you kill my grandson, my whole family will you pay for your life?" The Buick driver actively got out of the car to face it, and said angrily, "You are just a display for monitoring, you want to touch porcelain, what the hell, it's Lao Tzu who is in a hurry to meet you when you go out. Bad luck." After a few roars, the driver was busy calling the insurance. "You bumped into my grandson, you should be responsible for the medical expenses anyway, take us to a major hospital for a general examination. If you want to be beautiful, I don't give a shit, it's none of my business to find death." Buick drivers are not good-tempered. The old man was so angry that he simply sat on the ground, rolled around, and howled. "Hey!" The two sisters in the car shook their heads and sighed, "Destroy the reputation of the elderly. Look, everyone, this kills without blinking, and is not responsible for bumping into someone. Even the elderly and children are spared." Beside the flower bed, Lu Ying and her child parked for a while. From the beginning of worry to the present contempt and disgust, he said to Lu Zizai, "Cub, don't imitate the old grandfather. That's so bad and embarrassing." He had been deceived once before, and he had to break 200 oceans before he got out. Since then, when he encountered the car of the old grandfather and the old lady, he would be on guard and avoid it. Lu Zizai nodded sensible. "I saw that it was the old man who fell by himself. I can't blame others. He also crashed his uncle's car. Give the child some virtue." After shouting, Lu Ying didn't care about the old man's reaction, put on a raincoat and rode away in a hurry. Until Lu Ying's electric car completely disappeared into the night, the grey-haired woman in the luxury car still didn't come back to her senses. "Let's go too, the traffic police have come," my sister ordered the driver. The car slowly moved forward, but my sister suddenly opened the window quickly and stretched her neck to look out. "Sister, what are you doing?" The younger sister was surprised and did not understand her dangerous behavior at all. Sister recovered from embarrassment and whispered, "I saw an acquaintance." "Who?" She is really curious about the person who can make her sister so excited. Sister shook her head and said nothing. How dare she tell her sister that many years ago, in order to force the boy to leave her son, she did a very embarrassing thing. After many years, the other party has become a father. And his son was unable to ask for a child. This, could it be retribution? The lady's mood is particularly complicated. In the past 2 years, she has sought medical treatment, God, Buddha, and masters for the Qin family's blood reproduction problem. Her sister told her that she was in Qixia town, Kaifeng City. There was a very powerful mysterious doctor, and the two inquired about it in many ways. Basically, they decided that the news was true and immediately set off to the town. When she heard the unfamiliar and familiar name of Qixia town, she felt a little hesitation in the bottom of her heart. The teenager she chased away was born in the remote mountains near Qixia town. The boy disappeared in front of his eyes as he wished, and the most likely is to return to Qixia town where his hometown is. In any case, she doesn't want to meet, or rather, dare not say goodbye. The only unfortunate thing she ever did in her life was related to the teenager. "I didn't expect to see each other after many years. The face of the other party has hardly changed at all, the only thing that has changed is the temperament of growth. Yes, as a father, he looks much more stable than before." The lady suddenly became enlightened. Since the other party has become a father, and looking at the age of the child, she is afraid that the young man will marry and have children as soon as he returns to his hometown. Thinking of the key point, she does not know whether to laugh or laugh. Anyway, it proves that her decision was right. The child, as she expected, was simply young and ignorant. She fell in love with people without reading or being ignorant, and she didn't even know what she really needed in the future. The so-called love is not worth mentioning in the face of reality. Even though she kept comforting herself, Mrs. Qin couldn't control her insomnia that night. She tossed and turned on the hotel bed. Sent a message. "Zhupu, are you asleep?" As soon as the news was sent, the phone in Mrs. Qin's hand rang, and she was busy answering it, so she couldn't help but preach, "Zhuopu, it's 2 o'clock now, why are you still not sleeping? You can't spoil your body like this, it's not like you don't understand how annoying it is to stay up all night." Qin Zhuopu's voice became deeper and deeper on the phone, but it was extra calm. "Mom, I'm in the UK, I'll probably go back tomorrow. Why are you running outside all of a sudden?" Mrs. Qin, who was speechless, said helplessly, "You are more tired running around all day." "I know. Why isn't Mom sleeping?" "Oh, Mom and your aunt drank too much tea at night, and I'm a little sleepless now." "Sleep hard, don't stay up late when you are old." Mrs. Qin sighed softly. "Humble, Mom today." "What?" Through the phone, he could sense that his mother had something on his mind. Qin Zhuopo was both worried and helpless. He felt that 80% of the time he was worried about his children and grandchildren. He could understand the feelings of his grandfather and mother. Eager. But that doesn't mean he agrees with all this tossing. Once or twice is not enough, now it's 5 or 6 times. To be honest, he almost despaired of himself, thinking that people will die when they reach middle age. Fortunately, the medicine told him that he was very healthy. In this case, what else should he be afraid of? Qin Zhuopo also likes children, but that kind of thing depends on fate. If you have it, you can be a good father. If you don't, it's all right. It's interesting to constantly challenge yourself in your career. In a faraway country, sitting in front of the bright floor-to-ceiling window, Qin Zhuopo casually persuaded his mother while flipping through the thick documents, "Mom, rest early, don't be so futile, you put pressure on me, embarrass yourself. Our Qin family has no throne to inherit, so the child is not a must." The assistant who was arranging the copywriting couldn't help but quickly glanced at the boss. Mr. Qin's net worth is a mystery, plus Mrs. Qin's assets, the assets will only make people dare not imagine, converting all of them into gold, that would be a huge amount of the throne. "Papa, I want to inherit, A_1. In the blink of an eye, on Christmas Eve, Liu Ying's work is even busier. He and his colleagues put on furry red Christmas clothes since they opened early in the morning and distributed them in every area of the supermarket. Liu Ying and 2 other colleagues were in charge of the chocolate candy snack area, and everyone held several products for promotion. He kept greeting the endless stream of guests, and his throat was so hot that it was smoking. By the time of the shift in the afternoon, colleagues were dying, but Liu Ying's expression remained unchanged, and her work was still conscientious and diligent. "I finally got to get off work at 4 o'clock, and the supervisor temporarily notified everyone to work overtime and not protest." Liu Ying had already expected, no matter how reluctant she is, there is no good thing about not working overtime. It is the time when they can't slack off when others rest during the New Year's holiday. Fortunately, they had an hour to eat, and a few people huddled in the staff lounge to swallow instant noodles. Several messages in Hu Pengguyu's WeChat group flashed quickly. "Brilliant Brother G, I'm on my way to kindergarten, and I promise to take my son back. Perfect Dad, thank you, Brother G. Artisan Yang, what time do you have to work overtime today? If you don't put the child here first, Ziaji and I will help you watch. Today is the holiday and I have a Christmas cake at my house to celebrate together. Full score Dad, I don't know what time I will work overtime. I took a leave of absence for my part-time takeaway today. Brother G, you will ask Zizai later if he wants to come to me or to Brother Yang, let him choose. Brilliant Brother G, only children make choices, Perfect Dad, oh. Yes, cubs are children." Someone helped to pick up the child. Liu Ying was completely relieved, and hurried back to the workbench after eating instant noodles. Today's overtime work is exhausting, but the overtime pay is still expressed, and there are coupons inside the employees, which are very practical. The song of Merry Christmas kept ringing in her ears. Liu Ying was flushed with heat, holding the beautifully packaged chocolate and pine cone, with a slightly low, slightly magnetic and a little soft the sticky voice shouted, "Christmas spree, DF chocolate, SF toffee, UU cookies." With his hard sales, there are constantly customers coming around, most of them are young boys and girls, and many people are secretly taking pictures with their mobile phones. "Have you seen the handsome guy selling chocolate? Much better than your idol. Oh my god, he's so handsome, and his skin is so good. Very good voice, I want to be friends with him." Although most of the girls are secretly watching and taking pictures, there are also a few who dare to ask Liu Ying directly for WeChat. Liu Ying shook his head, "I'm sorry, I can't play with my mobile phone during work hours." The young colleague next to her was very envious. "Why didn't a girl ask me for WeChat? If I had the look and figure of Brother Liu, I would walk sideways when I went out." You can still jump up and go to the sky. 1 meter 6 fuck, call me 1.6 meters and I will be a real PK. Ignoring the bickering of colleagues, Liu Ying is constantly dealing with the passenger flow, for the most likely bonus, smiley face. Tonight, the supervisor and others who were patrolling everywhere watched the lively scene not far away and nodded in relief. The supervisor was very satisfied with Liu Ying's work style. Working hard and never slacking off, plus looking good, whenever there is a big day to engage in activities, it can always bring a big wave of sales. If it weren't for his lack of education, the supervisor would have wanted Liu Ying to be promoted a long time ago. For now, let's wait and see. If Liu Ying works a little longer, he will be more convincing. The supervisor was full of thought, but he didn't notice that manager Zhang was staring at Liu Ying badly behind him. At this moment, a fat child wearing a Christmas hat squeezed out of the crowd and shouted happily, "Dad! I'm here to see you, Merry Christmas, Dad! Look, I got a gift from Santa Claus. Oh, the Transformers! It's a super cool bumblebee. Cub!" Seeing her son, Liu Ying hurriedly hugged him happily, and quickly put it down to continue working. She didn't have time to gossip. Ji Xiaofeng, who took a long time to squeeze in, panted, "Oh my god, there are so many people. My hair is messed up." The person came with a colorful long hair, which exploded like pine needles, and matched with a frightening smoky makeup, eyebrow ring, nose ring, lip ring, ring interlocking. The fancy sweater and the clinking metal denim ripped pants really want to kill more Matt. Killing Matt is out of fashion now, and the young man stands out from the crowd. My mother, non-mainstream really hot eyes. The little brother is actually a father. Oh. Eyes hurt, kill Matt and leave magic taste. Woo, oh, it's my dad. Dad. Isn't that a part-time college student? The chocolate is not sweet anymore. Liu Ying was very grateful for killing Matt. Thank you, brother Ji. I should pick up my son from school. Okay, cubs, say goodbye to your father. Godfather will take you to Uncle Yang's house for a big dinner now. Liu Zizai quickly waved his chubby hand to his father when he heard the words, "Come on, Dad, I'm going to Uncle Yang's house to eat Christmas cake now, goodbye Dad." As a souvenir, he dragged his colorful Kill Matt godfather and ran out of the crowd. It was a can't wait. Liu Ying was helpless. He thought his son would be reluctant to leave him. In Liu Ying's busy night, there are also various Christmas messages on Weibo. A piece of the most handsome Christmas brother quietly appeared on the internet. Wow, really handsome. Very handsome, and these slender eyes are particularly delicious. Lash monster. Nice. In 5 minutes, I want to know all about him. Little brother is really strong to interpret what it means to be picturesque with red lips and white teeth. There's nothing to see, it's not makeup. I have the ability to wash off the eyeliner. I'm the bead of sweat on his face. I can lick this face for a year, goblin. Hey, I know him. The handsome single dad who delivers food near my house. The address of the supermarket where he works is Shopping Mall, Ziyuling Street, Qixia Town. No thanks. I know the kindergarten his son goes to. He picks up every day. Toxic upstairs. Dust-sealed 4 Seasons is a student studying in a media university in Qixia Town. When she saw the handsome Christmas boy, she took a picture without hesitation and posted it on the internet. Then, clicks, retweets and comments were all the peaks in history. She clicked excitedly. Most of the comments were girls who licked the screen, and then looked at it. The expression on her face, the smile turned into worry, and someone actually exposed the personal information such as the name and work of the little brother and his family. Dust-covered 4 Seasons was flustered and regretful, and deleted the meager without hesitation. Although it's too late to do this, I can only pray that no one will harass the little brother. I don't know anything about Liu Ying on the internet. How could he know that the information of Christmas little brother was almost exposed after the internet became popular? Not to mention that he doesn't have time to play with his mobile phone. Even if he has time, he doesn't play Weibo. To him, the mobile phone is a communication tool, a photo-talking tool, and occasionally helps the child to check information. Someone once said that people who hold their phones all day become more and more stupid, dangerous, and impolite. Anyway, what he said was right. It was past 9 o'clock when he got off work, and he rode an electric car to Brother Yang's house non-stop. Guanlin City is brightly lit at night, and the beautiful city appearance is more flavorful than the daytime. For many, dark is the beginning of the day. In a luxurious Western-style villa in the city, singing and dancing, wine and costumes are staggered. Different from the lively and enthusiastic voices here, at the back of the mansion, in the secluded place, stands a quaint old villa. In the hall, 2 old people are sitting in front of the warm fireplace during the game. There was only the occasional clanging sound of black and white chess pieces falling in the room. Behind one of the old men, a young man drinking tea with one hand stood quietly. He concentrated on watching the 2 old men play chess, only his eyes showed regret from time to time. The tea in the hands of the 2 elders was changed several times by the servants, until the situation on the chessboard gradually came to an end. It could be said that the overall situation was already set, and the young man finally put down the teacup and sat down on the sofa beside him, frowning and shaking quickly after reading it. Phone messages for a long time. Grandpa, I have something to go out for a while, and I'll pick you up later. The old man nodded perfunctorily. The man got up and went out, striding into the night. The man stepped into the splendid ball hall with one foot, and the lively noise made him frown. He never liked to participate in parties, and he did not like any form other than work, unless forced. Fatty Gao and his wife are different. Because he is in the entertainment industry, his distant cousin loves to organize activities. Fatty Gao does not give up too much, and the couple is very compatible. Entering the hall from the back door, I saw many familiar faces at a glance, and someone greeted him immediately. All the men waved their hands politely, looking for a reason to quickly walk to the rest area. There was already a waiter who went to the dance floor to find Fatty Gao according to his instructions. Under the flickering light, the tall fat man's bald head was very conspicuous, and he stood out from the crowd, and Dianer came to Qin's Wopu. Seeing this, Mrs. Gao, the dance partner who was dropped, wanted to follow, but was held down by Fatty Gao. The displeased Mrs. Gao saw Qin's Wopu in the rest area, so she waved her hand with a smile and went to play with the others. Old Gao, what are you looking for me for? The tall fat man covered in hot sweat with a red face, mysteriously dragged him to a secluded corner, took out his mobile phone and fiddled with it, and said excitedly, Old Qin Lao Qin, brother, let me show you good stuff, guaranteed to surprise you. Qin's Wopo was speechless. Looking at him like that, he knew that it was a big new thing. No matter how old he is just like Mao Monkey and loves to gossip when he has nothing to do. He is not long at all. Heart. The key is to be silly, thinking that everyone else is as boring as him. Fatty Gao has always boasted that this is an occupational disease and has a keen sense of occupation. Qin's Wopu felt helpless. Fatty Gao raised the mobile phone to his eyes, and the screen was coming. A bright red picture immediately appeared in Qin's Wopu's eyes. For a moment, her eyes were silent and sparkling, and red waves flowed. Qin's Wopu held his breath, stared at the familiar face and smile on the screen of the mobile phone. The noisy noise in his ears disappeared, and it seemed that he was the one who echoed in his empty mind. The beating of a heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Fatty Gao's cell phone was snatched by Qin's Wopu. His eyes were lowered, his eyes fixed on that face, as if he wanted to count every tiny pore of the person in the painting. This photo doesn't seem to have changed at all, it still looks like a good teenager who has just grown up. Look at the skin, it's so tender that it can be squeezed out of water. I'm afraid my wife will sigh when she sees it. He said while watching the old friends. In response, he found that Lao Qin, who has always been stable, was obviously a little disordered in his breathing, and his expression was so solemn. Why does he seem to have seen an enemy? Qin Zhuopu finally raised his head, clasped the screen with his fingers, his nails turned white. Where did you get the photo? Fatty Gao stretched out his hand and swiped his phone quickly. I saw it on Weibo. At that time, it was still falling behind the hot search, and now it seems to be down. This is the news, you see, tisk tisk, a lot people praise Xiaolu. By the way, there are people below who exposed Xiaolu's personal information. Anyway, I don't know if it's true or not, and maybe it's Xiaolu's own hype. Today's young people have all kinds of routines, sometimes even people like me. Even the old birds can't understand it. But it's easy to become popular based on Xiaolu's good looks. If he listened to me and entered the entertainment industry a few years ago, he would have become popular. How can Liu Ying join the entertainment industry? Qin Zhuopu gave Fatty Gao a light look. He doesn't like it. Ha, you are your ex and you are right. Fatty Gao spread his hands. Qin Zhuopu quickly browsed the comments of the blockbuster, and paid more attention to those who exposed Liu Ying's personal information. Then he returned the mobile phone to Fatty Gao, turned around and left. It's not early, I take grandpa back. Alas, you have nothing else to say. No. There are a lot of people, Song Xian, you know, right? You are a popular fried chicken, a warm man who plays the male lead of XXXX, and people adore you very much. Qin Zhuopu waved his hand, not even leaving a corner of his clothes. Although Qin Zhuopu didn't say anything, Fatty Gao, who had been paying attention to Liu Ying, found that all the information about Liu Ying on the internet had disappeared the next day. It's as clean as never before, no need to ask, it's definitely contrived. According to his guess, only Qin Zhuopu could do this. What's wrong with Brother Park? Asked Mrs. Gao, who was wearing a mask. Fatty Gao told the truth in a few words. Mrs. Gao heard that she was busy going to see Liu Ying's photo, then touched her face and sighed, I really envy his skin. The facial features are very beautiful, it is rare to see that kind of handsomeness, and a bit of a demon. No wonder Brother Park likes him. Since he is an old lover, maybe he will get back together someday? Fatty Gao laughed, I think Lao Qin is simply unforgettable. I don't know why the two broke up. It is estimated that Xiaolu's education is too low to say one thing. Mrs. Gao chuckled, love is love, and it has nothing to do with education. And vice versa. Old friend Yang Sigu is much older than Liu Ying, knowledgeable and versatile. He lives in the most upscale community in Qixia town. Brother Yang runs a handmade bakery, the store is right at the gate of the community, with a good reputation and a lot of money. He is mild-mannered and kind, and Liu Ying admires Brother Yang very much. When Liu Ying stepped into the Xiaoyang building, everyone was still eating, drinking, laughing, and even Liu Zizai, who usually went to bed early, was in good spirits, carrying a plate of cakes and stalking to kill Mat's godfather fed it in his mouth, making him jump up and down. Liu Ying is finally here, and there are still some dishes for you. Lu Daishuan greeted. Wearing a white shirt and an apron, Yang Sigu brought out a large plate of fresh vegetables from the kitchen one by one into the hot pot, and then took out several small stir-fries and nutritious soups, all specially for Liu Ying stayed. Liu Ying took the bowls and chopsticks handed by Brother Yang, with a warm heart in his heart, he smiled and rolled his eyes, thank you Brother Yang, thanks to you for helping me take care of the cubs today. You don't think about our relationship. Ji Xiaofeng rolled her smoky eyes, it was really exciting. Lu Daishuan almost spit out a mouthful of juice and said ashamedly, Brother Ji, your taste is really getting hotter and hotter, and those who don't know think you are a crow spirit. This is a trend, avant-garde, if you don't understand, just shut up. Lu Daishuan murmured vaguely, haha, Doctor Who has an even weirder taste. Being a father. I've always been worried about how you will live. Fortunately, you are stronger and independent than I thought, and the cub is also very well behaved and sensible. You are amazing. Lao Lu used to underestimate you. Lu Ying was embarrassed to be praised. Grandpa Lu used to say that he wanted me to learn like you. Yang Sigu shook his head. When you are as old as me, there will be no problem in terms of life skills. Learn things that you can't learn slowly, you have time. Dad, I could be in a mess. I really need to learn, but I don't know what to learn. I can speak some English now. Lu Ying looked confused. Ji Xiaofeng hurriedly interjected, Lu Ying's English is actually very good. He can understand English news completely. Get it? He didn't know what level he was at. Anyway, it was no problem to teach a class once in kindergarten. The teachers and parents were very supportive, and every time they praised him, he blushes. In the kindergarten, no one knew that Lu Zizai's father was an illiterate who never went to school. Yang Sigu smiled, besides English, think about what else you like. Lu Ying swallowed a piece of beef and said hesitantly, I like it. And sleeping, too embarrassed to say it. Lu Ying is not convinced, you are not the same. Yang Sigu did not mean to make fun of him, but said, it is normal to like to eat and drink. In the future, if you come to work with me, I will teach you Hansen. Let's start with Western food baking. After you learn it, it's convenient to cook and eat by yourself, and it's also suitable for opening a store. Lu Ying was very moved when she heard the words, thank you brother Yang, I'm very willing to learn. But I will continue to work in the shopping mall until the new year. Hey, I guess I can only work until the new year at most. I ignored the text messages from the manager's appointment, and recently I clearly felt the other party's badness. Anyway, come to me as soon as possible. You can speak English very well. There are often foreign customers in my store, so you can be the store manager when you come. Yes. So stressful. Also very happy. The friends were in a good mood after eating a meal. Before leaving, Yang Sigu gave everyone a bag of toast. I'll bring you home for breakfast tomorrow. Cubs, these are for yours. He took out an oversized bag and stuffed it into Lu Ying, making Lu Zizai's eyes blind. Thank you, Uncle Yang. Yang Sigu smiled, good boy, come to Uncle's house if you want to eat in the future. Eating and taking, making Lu Yingwei embarrassed, you give too much. Just a little food, don't worry about it. Yang Sigu shrugged. Lu Ying returned home with his drowsy son. He packed up the various foods sent by Brother Yang, and found that the quantity and variety were really large: heavy chocolate milk toast, green onions fragrant meat floss toast, chiffon cake, meat floss cake, etc. He probably knows the price of dim sum in Brother Yang's store, so much. Lu Ying thinks that Brother Yang at this dinner is incredible. No way. I don't want to think about it. Lu Ying secretly decided that after going to work at Brother Yang's in the new year, he must work harder. Never disappoint Brother Yang's kindness. On Christmas Day, Lu Ying continued to be busy in the store. The number of girls around him in the mall has doubled, and some people seem to have come to see him on purpose. Lu Ying, who was so busy flying, was a little confused. Feeling a lot of blatant stares makes him fidgety. Until the colleague told him with envy, Brother Lu, did you know that you were on the hot search yesterday? What's trending? Lu Ying looked confused. It was just yesterday that someone secretly photographed your photos and videos and posted them on the internet, and then you became popular because of your beauty. Now many people know you, and most of these girls are coming for you. It's really profitable to look good. Which network? Show me. Lu Ying asked hurriedly. My colleague dug out his mobile phone and quickly looked for it, and then helplessly spread his hand. Actually, it's strange, your news was suddenly deleted late last night, and today I can't even find the scum. No more. Yeah, that's a pity, otherwise you'd definitely be on fire. Lu Ying breathed a sigh of relief and was busy with her work. It's good if it's gone. I don't understand those things, and I don't want to attract unnecessary attention. Marriage, whether the son is biological or not, what kind of ghost, it is scary and irritating. He used to be fearless, but now he just wants to live peacefully with his son. The colleague immediately hated that iron is not steel, knowing that Liu Ying was not lying, but that Liu Ying was really resisting. No matter how evil he looked, it would not change his ordinary core. This is a sincere man who is dedicated to being a good dad, but he doesn't know how to grasp it. God knows that when they first met Liu Ying, they were shocked when they first met Liu Ying, and then one by one, they helped out with their ideas. They all eagerly suggested Liu Ying to try it out. With his beauty, he would definitely be popular, even if he was lucky. No matter how bad it is definitely better than doing errands in the supermarket. It is necessary to know how many parallel import broadcasters make money on a daily basis. In the end, it's useless to let everyone talk. Liu Ying is not moved at all. It's a waste to blind a handsome face. No matter how bad it is, you, a poor single father, can take advantage of his face and find a rich woman to take care of him. After knowing that there was a reason for the incident, Liu Ying still sticks to her job and continues to endure the naked eyes of strangers, like a light on her back. Some people still publish beautiful photos and live videos about Christmas brother from time to time on the internet. It is a pity that the Christmas little brother did not make waves all day. Many people found themselves posting pictures and videos on the internet. If they are hung up, they will become sorry. The pictures/videos you posted have been deleted. What's the matter? The food for the little brother Christmas has been deleted. Hey, the video I just posted was complained. Everyone who wants to watch can secretly join the group. By the way, the speed of the cleanup is too fast, I feel like being watched. Didn't you say that little brother Christmas is an ordinary dad who works in the supermarket and delivers food part-time? Is there someone behind him? Nonsense, he wants someone behind him to sell it in the supermarket. Hype. Absolutely hype. New tricks to hype? I bet that little brother will make his debut in a month, and lose the keyboard. I looked at the little brother, number, openly at the scene. The real person looks better than the photo, and he is so tall. I just saw that the little brother is too hot and rolled up his sleeves. I'm going to blow my little brother's hands and arms. The fingers are really beautiful, white and glowing, and the muscles of the arms are very strong. Don't be a nympho, you're not a celebrity or an internet celebrity, so don't harass people if you go to the scene on purpose. I despise the shameless person who exposes the information of the little brother. Ho 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 ho. I just bought chocolate, and the little brother talked to me. WDM, the little brother's voice is so good, low and soft, and cute. I asked him about the chocolate sweet. He said Oh my god, my phantom limb is going to be why. The upstairs is poisonous. Is your surname dirty? Pop. The mobile phone was pressed heavily on the table, and the owner of the mobile phone pursed his lips tightly, but did not express his anger. The secretary and the others next to him were startled, and they didn't dare to come out and stomped on the ground. Qin Zhuopo realized that something was wrong, took a breath, and waved calmly, "You guys continue." Secretary Huang had no choice but to find that the always diligent workaholic Mr. Qin did not know what to do in the past 2 days, and suddenly he couldn't figure it out. A moment of gentleness and a moment of silence. He is like an anxious father waiting for his wife to give birth to a child outside the delivery room. So, Mr. Qin is addicted to online cloud-sucking wife? Secretary Wang's speculation is well documented, and it is by no means excessive. President Qin ordered people to delete videos and pictures all night long, but those Christmas brothers disappeared on the internet, but there were a lot of plates in President Qin's mobile phone and computer. He almost thought that President Qin wanted to set up the beautiful photos of people on the desktop. Fortunately, President Qin was still the same President Qin, at least on the surface, he was stable. "Mr. Qin, do you need to contact Mr. Liu?" Secretary Huang reminded thoughtfully that as long as Mr. Qin is willing, what star and internet celebrity can't be seen? Qin Zhuopu shook his head, his voice steady as Taishan, no need. Only Qin Zhuopu was left in the office. The bright sunlight swayed on his back, he bowed his head slightly, and looked directly at the old mobile phone in his hand. It is rare that the owner is not angry, but admits it magnanimously. Yes, I am a pighead. There is a little inexplicable pride in her small temper. It's heart-wrenching. Qin Zhuopu slowly opened the screen, and the most familiar face jumped up. It was himself. The person who can be seen in the mirror every day is very unfamiliar on the screen of this mobile phone. He is younger and more immature than today's Qin Zhuopu, and his smile is happier. At that time, he asked, why not just set up a photo of the two of us as a desktop? While playing with the new phone, the other party said with a smile, I think I am tired of looking at it, but your photos are more eye-catching. I just want to see you, don't you? He is very comfortable, what if you get tired of seeing me one day? The man hummed softly, if one day, this broken phone should be thrown away. Are you scared? I have no choice but to surrender, I am afraid. Afraid to die. Liu Ying was so excited that she rode on his neck and took selfies. How many stories are stored in the phone, Qin Zhuopu does not know. When he searched for the location with great difficulty, he saw no one on the phone. It was in an inconspicuous potted plant in the airport, and the mobile phone lay quietly in it, blinking a dying red light. All photos, videos, and original items in the phone are cleared. The screen desktop is the only thing left, past. Oh, there are countless others, and the missed calls he dialed were scarlet. The sun sets in the west, and a cold winter wind blows outside the window. The pighead phone fell into the darkness in the man's hands, and was thrown into the drawer with a bang. Being busy until the evening, Liu Ying and his colleagues who worked overtime were eating in the lounge. At this moment, the colleagues next to him were still eating instant noodles, but Liu Ying used the microwave to heat the dinner that he brought with him. Fried rice with 2 fried eggs on top. Liu Ying swallowed her saliva and enjoyed it with her amazingly large rice bucket. Fried rice with minced meat, green peppers, carrots, chives and pickles smells especially delicious. The colleague who was holding the instant noodles could not help but sigh, Brother Liu really knows how to live, and I will bring meals next time I work overtime. Liu Ying nodded silently, not speaking. Hehe, even if you say good things, this meal will not be divided for you, give up. In fact, none of Xiao Ziyonghua Fan's colleagues wiped their mouths, took out their mobile phones and brushed them, and after a while, he said, Brother Liu, I really can't find your news, it was deleted. So clean. Liu Ying is completely relieved about this matter. Brother Liu, you shouldn't offend anyone, someone doesn't want you to be popular, right? Liu Ying paused and shook her head solemnly, no. How could this be offended, but he really wanted to thank him. If it is really popular as my colleagues said, more people will come to watch him in the future, what's the point, he is not a gorilla. Like a star in the entertainment industry, the stars hold the moon, and people on and off the stage are stalking him. Thinking about it makes his back go cold. He is timid and thin-skinned. I don't even want others because he pays attention to the cubs. He likes ease and hates big changes in life. Colleagues analyzed, there are definitely people staring at you, tisk, completely staring at your photos and videos to delete it, more ruthless than the public relations of those big stars. Liu Ying paused, biting the spoon and thinking for a second. Maybe to help me. The author has something to say. Oh, it is difficult to choose the title of People Are Not As Good As the Old Lover is asking me to reunite the Year of the Pig. Which one is better to choose? Small theater children, cubs, why is your father picking you up every day? Where has your mother gone? Cub, my mother went far away. Children, your mother must be beautiful. Cub, Dad said my mom is the prettiest. She has black hair, grape-like eyes, a high nose and a red mouth, as well as a gentle voice and a sweet smile. After a long time, President Qin came to pick up the child. Children, cub, who was the strange uncle who picked you up yesterday? Cub, unhappy, my mother. Children, your mother is so tall, she looks like a father. President Qin. Finally overworked with the Christmas activities, Liu Ying had good expectations, and went to work early in the morning but was told by the supervisor that the bonus was cancelled. Liu Ying suddenly thought of the annoying manager Zhang, and became angry. At this time, a female colleague hurriedly came to the supervisor, "My son's kindergarten will hold a New Year's Day performance tomorrow, so I have to take half a day off tomorrow morning to participate." "Okay, these days are just in time for school activities, so you must ask for leave in advance, everyone can only take half a day. When the activities start on the 29th New Year's Day, you are not allowed to ask for leave." The supervisor told everyone. The people who work in the supermarket are basically family members. Who doesn't have a kindergarten, primary school and middle school child? Nowadays, various schools have a variety of activities, such as parent meetings, competition performances, spring outings and autumn outings, etc., which are the only way for every parent. For working parents who do not have the help of the elderly at home, it is both gratifying and helpless. New Year's Day Parade is one of the annual large-scale events. Liu Ying does the same every year. "I was having dinner with my son in the evening, and the teacher gave a notice in the class WeChat group. Some parents are off that day, and the school's arrangements can be considered very considerate." Liu Ying was very curious about her son's show. "What will the cub perform that day?" Liu Zizai said loudly, "We're going to perform 2 shows in class 3, we're going to dance chair dances. We're going to sew clothes." "Wow, chair dancing, it sounds cool." Liu Ying blinked, looking curious, "What is sewing clothes?" Liu Zizai frowned and explained in a serious manner, "Why don't you even know this? Let me tell you." Cough. He recited in a voice, "Mother's hand thread, wait, I'm going to get a piece of clothing." Seng Seng jumped off the chair, ran to the bed, grabbed a prop and came back. Then holding the props in one hand and moving the other hand, she opened her mouth and said, "Mother's hand thread, wandering child's shirt. Before you leave, you will be closely sewed," reported 3 Chunyui. Liu Zizai memorized the entire poem word by word, and also matched the dance gestures of sewing clothes. Now Liu Yingke understood it, and immediately applauded and gave his son a big compliment, "It's amazing. It's a good memorization. It's the action of sewing clothes, it's hard to describe in words." Silently took back her from her son, Liu Ying lined up in the class group to reply, "Received. The New Year's Day extravaganza will definitely be there." Liu Ying did not expect to receive a personal reply from the teacher soon, "Dad Cub, we have arranged Liu Cub to be the host for this New Year's Day performance, and there will be a total of 6 children in the whole show. The hosts will appear in 2 separate time periods. So you see, can you provide Liu Zizai with a children's dress suit or something?" Originally, there were clothes in the school, but the size of Zizai was not suitable. "Daddy Zizai, you can get ready as soon as possible." Liu Ying directly voiced, "Teacher, do you really want to host the show?" "That's right. The etiquette teacher has been rehearsing for several children every day recently. Liu Zizai has made great progress after entering the big class this year. He has a very good memory and a very stable personality. A young man with stage fright. However, you still have to teach him a lot of mathematics. He is very good at recognizing Chinese characters and learning English, but he is really insensitive to calculations." The teacher's reply made Liu Ying blossom, full of pride. "As for bad math, just ignore it. The existence of mathematics is to destroy human nature, so it is not something that people learn. It's normal for a cub to not understand, and my father didn't understand it when he was a child. Why not inherit someone's math gene? Convex, fuck dish f***ck. Liu Ying hurriedly ordered a small suit for her son to wear online, and it would arrive the next day, so it was too late. When she went to work in the supermarket the next day, Liu Ying asked the supervisor to ask for a half-day leave on the 27th. Unexpectedly, the supervisor looked embarrassed and shook her head. Little Liu, I just came back from a meeting above. At the meeting, it was specially said that no employee will be allowed to take leave from today, and they will all have to wait until New Year's Day is over. It was a normal arrangement, but the supervisor felt that something was wrong. Feel like targeting a minority? Didn't everyone ask for leave the day before yesterday? Yes, but I can't help it. Manager Zhang is keeping an eye on me. Liu Ying sighed, then I will take a day off on the 27th. It's easy. Oh. Liu Ying calmly replied, where does Manager Zhang live? Hey. The supervisor was stunned. It's getting cold, he wants to send a green hat to Manager Zhang's husband. Liu Ying of course, can't do that. No way, Liu Ying still entrusted her little cub to her godfather. Fortunately, Ji Xiaofeng has time and especially likes her son. Over the years, whenever Liu Ying needs Ji Xiaofeng's help, he never refuses. On the day of the New Year's Day performance, Liu Ying went out to work listlessly, and Ji Xiaofeng kept pushing him, go to work quickly, be careful not to deduct money for being late. Say I'll be the cub's parent today, what are you? Expression. Liu Ying muttered, how can a godfather smell like a father? Isn't that right, cub? Ji Xiaofeng was not convinced. Godson, you say, is it your father's fragrance or godfather's fragrance? Liu Ying is full of confidence, what a nonsense. Liu Zizai rolled his eyes at the two stupid fathers, then tilted his head uncertainly and said, it should be the most fragrant mother, Li Sishan said. Ji Xiaofeng made a cut, her face full of disdain. Liu Ying also cut, your mother sprinkled expensive water, of course it smells better than me. Liu Zixi muttered, so my mother must have gone to heaven like Li Sishan's mother, right? Li Sishan's mother went to heaven, I heard that the place is very beautiful and far away. Li Sishan's mother grows flowers and raises butterflies in the most beautiful garden in heaven. Liu Ying choked, Ji Xiaofeng laughed. Liu Ying, who felt a pain in her foot, said embarrassedly, well, yes, my mother went to a distant place. It's not heaven. Liu Zizai sighed, I don't know if I can go to heaven to see my mother when I grow up and get on a plane. Liu Ying is very helpless about her mother's question. She doesn't know what answer is best for her child all these years. The cub is getting bigger and bigger, and he has more and more ideas. He will think for himself, and adults can't fool around. Why do you want to see mom? You have never seen it before, do you miss it? Liu Ying was apprehensive. Liu Zizai was depressed. Li Sishan said that it is lonely for mother to grow flowers alone in heaven, and she will miss the little baby at home. Can't we go to mother and accompany her to catch butterflies? You are so troubled at such a young age. Liu Ying is speechless, can he say that his son is just his own baby? The so-called mother doesn't know him at all, and naturally she won't miss him. Liu Ying touched her son's head, I lost my old mobile phone and can't get in touch. Air tickets are too expensive to buy. Don't think about mother anymore. As the temporary parent, Ji Xiaofeng went to the New Year's Day extravaganza very dutifully and recorded every bit of Liu Zizai. Liu Ying was so busy that she couldn't wait to turn on her phone during lunch, holding her phone while eating and snickering. Staring at her son's video, the smile on Liu Ying's face slowly faded. Recently, my son has obviously pumped up a bit, and his fat face is slightly longer than before. Unconsciously, some milk gas has faded, and he is more like that person. The show is over, and the kindergarten is on vacation in the afternoon. I'll take Cubs home. You can pick him up after get off work. Liu Ying hurriedly asked, Doctor whose clinic? Crap. Okay. He was very happy that his son went to Doctor Who to get acquainted with him. After all, he was the midwife and attending doctor of Zizay. To say that Brother Yang is the target he longs for, Doctor Who is an unattainable master. Even Grandpa Lu admired him. It's just that Doctor Who has a weird temper. Except for Ji Xiaofeng, he usually doesn't have a good face towards anyone. He wants to seek medical treatment to see his mood. More than half a year ago, he took the desperate landlord auntie's family to the clinic, and Doctor Who accepted the patient for his own sake, but the result was he was ashamed of himself. Ji Xiaofeng took her dry son to Qixia town's oldest Qiashan street. The old street is hidden in the bustling gap of high-rise buildings. It is difficult for cars outside to get in and cars inside to get out. The whole street is full of slow pedestrians and the shouts of various stall owners. Doctor Who's clinic is hidden in the dilapidated old street. On one side of the canvas, the words Who Medical Clinic are written like a phoenix. The door opened, Ji Xiaofeng stepped directly in. Old Who, what do you have for dinner? Brother Ji, Doctor Who is not here. An elegant old man wearing glasses came out with a dustpan. Doctor Who said that he will not visit the doctor for a few days. There is a batch of medicinal materials on the mountain to be finished, he gotta keep it. Ji Xiaofeng frowned. Then I'll go to the mountain to find him. Elder Su, let's go. As soon as the old man turned around, 2 more people came in outside the house. He looked up and sighed helplessly. Doctor Who is not here, you can go. I won't be visiting the doctor for a few days. Ji Xiaofeng's eyes suddenly fell on the face of the woman in the lead. The lady was much older than many years ago, but he also knew her when she turned to ashes. He immediately decided not to go. Let's see the situation. Obviously the woman no longer knew him, and she said to Su Lao with a face full of disappointment, then when will Doctor Who visit the doctor again? I sincerely want to ask him to see my son. Jin definitely makes Doctor Who satisfied. In fact, my main purpose is to let him go to my house to have a look at Feng Shui. Please see if you can help me. What's wrong with your son? The woman's words were suddenly interrupted by Ji Xiaofeng. Old Su gave the young master a strange look. The glittering eyes in those black eyes were not a good sign. Mrs. Qin was a little unhappy when she was interrupted. My son is not sick. Ji Xiaofeng sneered, are you ill? Come and ask my Doctor Who to see a doctor. Mr. Su answered, this lady's son is indeed not sick, so it is impossible for Doctor Who to visit the doctor. Madam, you should go back. Don't come next time. Ji Xiaofeng asked curiously, are you really sick? The old man hummed, her son's recent examination results have been seen by Doctor Who. From the list, he is indeed not sick and very healthy. Then why have there been no children? Mrs. Qin couldn't help but ask loudly. The slightly younger woman next to me hurriedly said, Doctor, I really ask you to help my sister, there is absolutely no problem with the consultation fee. Don't mention the $1 million consultation fee given by the Wang family, we are willing to pay 1,000 won, I just want to invite Doctor Who to come out, can you see it? They believe that Doctor Who has been carefully verified, and everyone in the upper circle in Guanlin City knows that the youngest Wang family was kidnapped when he was young, and was brutally abused and turned into a crippled person. Today's technology is impossible. Let him become a normal man. But someone did it, and that was Doctor Who here. Can't Qin's Wopu give birth? Ji Xiaofeng groaned, and quickly covered her mouth, holding back her laughter. Lu Zizai's hands turned red when he pinched it, and Lu Zizai looked at the 2 strange grandmothers curiously while chewing on the candied gourd. Your son can't have a baby? Ji Xiaofeng asked with a smile. Mrs. Qin was full of displeasure, he is normal. Then you should ask the doctor to see your daughter-in-law. Before Mrs. Qin said anything, Mrs. Su sighed, they don't have a daughter-in-law, and they spend money to go abroad to find excellent mothers. Logically speaking, both parties have no problem with IVF. The success rate should be very high. It's a bit strange to fail 6 times. It's really impossible for your son to come and see it in person. Ji Xiaofeng's eyes widened again. Oh, since the test tube doesn't work, why not try to conceive naturally? Sometimes it depends on fate. Old Su nodded, yes, instead of blindly seeking a doctor to see a son who is not sick at all, it is better to find him a serious daughter-in-law. Mrs. Chen's face is not good looking, and her expression is depressed. If this method works, why does she bother so much? I really have no way to ask Doctor Who, not only because of Doctor Who's excellent medical skills, but also because of his extraordinary skills. I want to try to see if there are other ways to resolve our family's difficulties. Even if I make 100 million, I am willing. Liu Ying went to the lounge to check her phone immediately after finishing her work. A message stands out. Your son is worth 100 million. The locals all know that there is Qixia Mountain in Qixia town. Every year when the flowers bloom in spring, some people go to the mountain to take a walk and relax. In people's eyes, Qixia Mountain is just a few ordinary barren mountains that are connected together. The scenery is not unique. Not steep, nothing compared to a real majestic mountain, not even challenging to climb. Walks with ease during the day. He walked in the woods for a while, and a warm light appeared in front of him. A quaint mansion stands in the woods. The front and back of the house are neatly cultivated, and there are herbs everywhere. The door was half closed. Liu Ying knocked, then pushed the door into the house. The main room was busy. Liu Zizai and Ji Xiaofeng were playing with building blocks. On the wooden sofa beside, lazy a man reading a book was lying there. As soon as Liu Ying saw the man, he immediately stood up, stretched, and respectfully greeted, Doctor Who. Thank you, Doctor Who, for entertaining the cub. I'll take him home. The man continued to turn the book without lifting his eyelids. Dad. Liu Zizai ran over and hugged his father. Ji Xiaofeng's eyes glowed and she approached Liu Ying with a smile. Guess who I met today? Liu Ying shook her head and asked inexplicably, what do you mean by the message you sent me? It's two people. Ji Xiaofeng sells her off. Think more, and then guess. How can Liu Ying think about it? He knows a lot of people, not much, but not much, just a lot of colleagues from all walks of life he has known over the years. Reminder, Guanlin City. This prompt is equivalent to giving the answer directly, and Liu Ying was a little confused for a while. Until I heard Liu Zizai say, we met two grandmas today. Liu Ying suddenly returned to her senses. Grandma. He secretly exhaled. Liu Zizai nodded, yes, it looks better than other grandmas, it's fragrant. The grandma said 100 million to ask Uncle Hu to see a doctor. Dad, how many zeros are there in 100 million? Godfather has taught me to be confused. Ji Xiaofeng was immediately annoyed. It's obvious that you are too confused, little confused. Fat and confused. Confused egg. Confused pig. Liu Zizai was not convinced, and whispered, I'm not confused, I'll count again, 10 million, 100,000, million. Liu Ying shyly stroked her forehead. As a father, he knows very well that the one who is confused in mathematics must be his son. After all, he is biological, like him. Teaching your son math can make my heart out. Ji Xiaofeng glared at Liu Ying furiously. Liu Ying immediately corrected, don't, that's your godson. You can pull it down. Ji Xiaofeng waved her hand weakly, can you go back now? Liu Ying smiled, then who did you meet today? I don't know many people at the grandma level. Ji Xiaofeng raised an eyebrow and smiled, it's Mrs. Chen. Liu Ying was really surprised. She was still an aunt back then, but now she's not a grandma. You. Liu Ying was curious, but didn't know how to ask. Ji Xiaofeng bluntly said, she didn't recognize me. Guess why she came to our Doctor Who? She went to Doctor Who, of course, to see a doctor. Liu Ying speculated that some could not believe that Mrs. Chen, who was full of fighting power, would also get old and sick. Hehe, she is not sick. I want to ask Doctor Hu to go out to see a doctor for her family. Liu Ying immediately said, her father-in-law, she is very old. Wrong, wrong, guess. Liu Ying was silent for a while. Father Qin, widowed daughter-in-law, grandson Qin's Wopu. If it wasn't the old man who was sick, Mrs. Qin would personally go out and invite Doctor Hu, and the Qin family who deserved her so much running around was her only son. Liu Ying's scalp was a little tight. Qin's Wopu, how old is he? Liu Ying? Liu Xiaozu. What? Liu Ying suddenly looked at the sullen Ji Xiaofeng. I called you a few times and didn't listen, why are you suddenly in a daze? Liu Ying hesitated. I still don't know your virtue, I don't even bother to scare you. Don't worry, Mrs. Qin's son is not sick, it's okay. Liu Ying breathed a sigh of relief. People are asking for a precious grandson, and they offer 100 million medical fees, 100 million. Begging, grandson. I can't think of it, ha ha ha, Qin's Wopu, who has no problems at all, can't have children. Mrs. Qin spent a lot of money doing test tubes abroad, but it didn't work. Liu Ying was speechless. Shout out! In less than 3 seconds, Liu Ying fled outside the house with her son in her arms. In the house, Ji Xiaofeng cursed angrily, I haven't finished my words yet, why do you drive me to kill my son, do you want to fight again? Before going to bed, the father and son in pajamas were leaning against each other. Liu Ying was reading a picture book story, the cub listened happily, and did not notice his father's absent-mindedness. Liu Ying was a little confused and helpless. Why haven't we seen each other for 6 years, now that I think about it, my memory is still so clear. Time goes by forever, his age has grown from his early 20s when we first met to now, he has grown to 27 or 8. On the track of the zodiac, dogs, horses, cattle, and sheep gallop past, and in the blink of an eye, the year of the pig has come to the front. Dad, what are you laughing at? Turning over a page of a colorful picture book, Liu Ying's eyebrows could not help but curl up. The coming year is the year of the pig, a lucky year for Dad. What is the year of the pig? In the Chinese zodiac, pork chops are at the bottom. The year of the pig means a fat year. Many years ago, in the year of the pig, he was born in Qixia Mountain. Since then, I have a name, family, and friends, a lover, and the most loved person in my life. On December 28, shopping malls and supermarkets were making arrangements for the New Year's Day activities starting on the 29th. Liu Ying and her colleagues were pushing a heavy trolley, and manager Zhang suddenly arrived. Refers to Liu Ying and the two, now you go to the garage to help unload the goods. You can't leave work until you finish unloading today. It will be used early in the morning. Liu Ying's face was not good looking, and her colleague was shocked, we haven't finished here yet. Manager Zhang winked, do whatever you want. As soon as Manager Zhang left, his colleagues muttered, there are special porters for unloading, so we should be instructed when we are young. Liu Ying asked Director Li, when we go to unload the goods, do we calculate the money separately like the porter? He doesn't mind being a porter, he does a lot more. He used to go to Guanlin City with brother Ji and his first job was as a transporter in a building materials market. At that time, the two of them worked for a few days and played for a few days. The whole family was not hungry, and they were carefree and happy. 3 months after Liu Zizai was born, his savings bottomed out. In order to make money for milk powder, he came to town to find the first job to be handling. At that time, he worked hard to unload the goods. Get more than 1,000 salary a day. Later, he was rejected and resisted by his peers and had to leave the transportation circle. He carried a few by himself, and he did not work for many people. Yes, is there another salary? Colleagues also asked. Director Li is helpless, why is Manager Zhang always targeting people under her command, but Liu Ying is her favorite employee. Director Li gritted his teeth, money is indispensable. Okay. Have money to talk about everything, until I saw the super long truck in the garage, my colleague suddenly exclaimed, damn it! How many tons is this? Liu Ying is more experienced than him. He knows that a truck should not only look at the length, but also the load of the tires. At a glance, he estimates that a truck has a size of 30 tons, and he does not know what it is. As in the building materials market, the most unloaded items are ceramic products, floor tiles, marble tiles, and bathtubs and toilets. It will save you a lot of trouble when you are not afraid of falling, such as wood cubes, steel bars, etc. Of course, the price is also different. The two walked over, where 7 or 8 porters were already untying the ropes. When they opened it, their colleagues began to shout again, so many Chinese cabbage and potatoes are going to be sold in the year of the monkey and the month of the horse. Kaifeng City belongs to the south. Winter is cold and humid. People are not used to hoarding vegetables at home. Therefore, the purchasing power of vegetables is not fast. There are too many old ladies and grandpas who go to the supermarket to buy a few onions and garlic. Liu Ying also did this kind of thing. Cherries are just on the market, and the price is more than 100 per pound. However, his family's favorite fruit is the red and big cherries. So in order to satisfy his son's greed, he bought 2. Father and son, 1 person, and 1 pill is just right. Only when summer comes to eat cheap big cherries, will he and his son have a good meal. I can't think, I'm greedy again. Making money is the most important thing. As long as you have money, you can eat a lot of cherries, eat one and swallow one, hum. Liu Ying took off her jacket, and there was a thin short-sleeved t-shirt inside, and began to unload the goods. The colleague couldn't stand it for half an hour and gasped, no, this money is too bad, I'm going to lose my waist. The professional porters laughed at him one after another, how come you guys with tender skin and tender meat came to fight us? There is a lot of work at the end of the year, and there is not enough manpower anywhere. I wish someone could share it, and it is fine to take a little less money. Liu Ying didn't say anything. He jumped out of the car and cooperated with others. Several porters were amazed again and again, I can't believe that such a playful young man is as powerful as an ox. God give me a meal. I don't care, I'll leave first. The colleague left. Liu Ying continued to work silently. He calculated that he could at least divide the truck into more than 200 yuan after unloading. Work harder in the afternoon, eager to finish work early and get money home early. As Liu Ying wished, the entire truck was emptied before 4 p.m. Director Li paid the money to the transport leader at one time according to the rules, and the team leader readily gave 300% to Liu Ying. Your strength is really unconvincing, we will have a chance to do it again in the future. Cooperation. Okay. At 4 o'clock, Liu Ying was ready to get off work with a lot of snacks. She wanted to make extra money today and wanted to surprise her son. He walked out happily, but he didn't expect to meet Manager Zhang again. Before waiting for the other party to look for trouble, Liu Ying just pretended that he didn't see it, raised his head, turned around in 3 or 2 steps, and avoided Manager Zhang's sight. Liu Ying, don't you want to do it? Believe it or not, I'll let you go tomorrow. Liu Ying straddled the electric car, lowered her head and deleted the threatening text message sent by Manager Zhang, and blocked the person. He's not ready to work here. The new year is coming, have a new look. Don't let annoying people and things affect the new year. Picking up the child to go home, just arrived at the gate of the community, the familiar courier brother immediately called him, Mr. Liu Ying, there is your package. Liu Ying has a question mark on her face, thinking that I don't seem to have bought anything recently. When the two returned to the rental house, Liu Ying cut open the huge logistics box with scissors. The glittering cherries are so dazzling. The round cherries are so cute. Red cherries. My God! Dad, have you made a fortune? Lu Ying.